Hello, I'm Michael Garry, Head of Content for Atmosphere. Welcome to the update on the EPA's GreenChill program by its new manager, Kersey Manliclic. GreenChill was started back in 2007. I was privileged to be at the launch meeting in Washington, D.C. at the EPA headquarters. It has had a tremendously positive impact on the supermarket industry in terms of both refrigerant leak reduction and also the adoption of natural refrigerant systems. In fact, GreenChill has annually recognized natural refrigerant systems as being the best of their certified store systems over the years. So I'm very excited to introduce the GreenChill program's new manager. I believe it's their fourth manager since the founding, Kersey, who will be giving us an update on GreenChill's accomplishments and where it is heading. And please remember that if you have any questions for Kersey, which we will take at the end of his presentation, feel free to click on the live discussion button at the bottom right of your screen, and then click on the questions option, and then just simply enter your questions. All right, a little bit first about Kersey. He's as I mentioned, the GreenChill program manager, which is in the Stratospheric Protection Division, Office of Atmospheric Programs at the EPA. Kersey has worked in various sectors. Before coming to the EPA, he most recently worked for the California Air Resources Board for 3.5 years. That's CARB, who will be actually presenting later in the day during the policy session, Glenn Gallagher of CARB. And at CARB, Kersey implemented an incentive program for cleaner agricultural equipment and ensuring that cap and trade incentive programs benefited disadvantaged communities. Before CARB, he worked with major automakers and state agencies to plan hydrogen fueling infrastructure for fuel cell electric vehicles. He holds a BS in mechanical engineering and material science and engineering, as well as an MS and PhD in environmental engineering, all from University of California, Irvine. So with that, Kersey, the floor is yours.
Michael, thank you so much. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, I think that's working. You would think after 2 years of this, we would be really good at sharing our screen and remote telework, but still have to double check. All right, again, Michael, thank you to you and ATMO for this opportunity to share about our program at this broader forum. I'm humbled to be kind of the lunchtime speaker for those of us here on Eastern Standard Time, and it's an absolute pleasure. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and kick things off with a little bit of an overview of the GreenChill program for those that are new. Then I'm going to switch over and talk about some recent trends that our GreenChill partners have been achieving. And then actually this past September, we had our annual GreenChill recognition ceremony. So I'm going to go ahead and share a recap of that. And that kind of will give those interested a flavor for the different types of recognition and achievements that our partners are getting. And then we'll kind of conclude by just a look forward. I also, Michael, kind of at this moment, want to take a moment to acknowledge our food retail partners, really all of our partners. There's been a lot of, changes and challenges that they've had to undergo during the pandemic. And for me, as I, come into this program and have learned, new things about it, our partners were continuing to make strides in refrigerant management, even amidst the pandemic. The in-house and contracted technicians were essential workers. And the more that I get to know our partners and speak to them, they continued to go into the office, as you might say. A lot of respect for our sustainability refrigeration managers and our partners. So as an overview of GreenChill, GreenChill is a voluntary partnership program that aims to work collaboratively with the food retail industry to reduce refrigerant emissions and truly decrease your store's impact on the ozone layer and the climate system. Our goals include lowering the refrigerant charge sizes, reducing leakage, making that move to lower GWP, environmentally friendlier refrigerants, And basically sharing, information across our partnership. So, making sure that we're always aware of the latest green refrigeration technologies, best environmental practices. So that's really kind of our core. I like to think of GreenChill as like a three-pronged approach. The first one being what we call our corporate emissions reduction program. And this is where all of our partners, they will kind of measure their corporate-wide emissions. They will set annual goals for themselves, and they'll report to us annually on their progress. So as an example, our food retail partners, they'll report on their entire fleet of stores to us. The second prong that I like to note is our store certification program. This is where, and I'll talk about this later in a later slide, where we sort of have like at a more granular level, you can have a store that is really excelling and they can get certification at the gold, silver, gold, and platinum level. And the third prong is, again, just promoting advanced refrigeration technologies, strategies, best practices, within our partnership, but also to the general public. So continuing, I guess, on this theme of three, we have kind of three categories, three types of partners. As I mentioned earlier, the food retailers, major supermarkets, co-ops, they will set goals to reduce their refrigerant emissions annually. They'll measure their stock. They report the data back to us. And I'm proud to say that right now we have 28 members spanning 50 different food retailer banners. Of course, the second category is the refrigeration systems manufacturers themselves. They will report I think their equipment and sales data to EPA, and they are promoting advancements in their technologies. And then the third partner that we have is the chemical producers. And so right now we have six members. And then on the refrigeration systems manufacturers, we have 5 members. And so those are kind of our 3 types of partners that we have. This is kind of one of my favorite graphics. I'll just add, I lived in California my whole life, and I never knew that there were this many banners of food retailers. So our partners are truly leading the way. And I'm happy to share that, ironically, on my birthday last month, we just welcomed our newest partner to GreenChill, Stop and Shop. So totally a coincidence. It was a pretty neat present for me to receive. So we'll look forward to working with them. So as I mentioned, that second prong, the store certification program that we have in GreenChill, individual stores can basically be certified. These stores are demonstrating leadership in refrigerant management. They only use non-ODS refrigerants, and they generally have the lowest refrigerant charge sizes and the lowest leak rates compared to the average food retailer store. I would like to add this kind of note, that any food retailer in the U.S. can apply for store certification. So you could have, a co-op, or you could have a store that maybe their parent company is in the process of becoming a corporate partner or is not yet a GreenChill corporate partner. But if a store is excelling in the refrigerant, management, we absolutely encourage and look forward to them applying for individual store certification. And again, there's different thresholds, but we have our silver, gold, and platinum level. And what you see on the right is just an example of a plaque that a partner, once certified, can actually procure. So, okay. Now let me just jump into some of the trends that we've seen, recently and just really over time. So back in 2007, I think I was a senior in high school, and it's been awesome to see that over the past decade, we've seen a growth in our partners. We started off with, 7 partners, 4,500 stores, and now we've got about a third of the food retail industry. So I think kind of the estimate, the number that we use here at GreenChill for the average emissions rate in the industry is about 25%. This past, 2020, our partners had an average emissions rate that was about half, 13.2%. And we actually improved from 2019 by 1%. So again, yeah, our partners are lowering their emissions rate. In terms of the actual pounds of refrigerant that's installed at our partner stores, again, we've seen just a steady decrease since the onset of GreenChill, to recent years. And let's go ahead and to further add on to that, we've also seen a change and an evolution in the type of refrigerants that was installed in our partner stores back in the early years, 2007 and those early years to more recent years. So again, just a takeaway that our partners have moved away from ODS and high GWP refrigerants to other lower GWP alternatives. So interestingly, a question that I've noticed we usually kind of get is what has been the impact of the partnership and our partners? What is that tangible impact? And so if you kind of just look on the right hand of the slide, you can see our calculation, our estimate of the actual financial and emissions benefit that our partners are achieving. Okay, and if I can go ahead and pivot back to that store certification program, back in our first year, we had one store that was certified. And now, most recently, we've had over 600 stores that are being certified. And it's been a steady growth over the years. And if you'll notice in more recent years, the majority of the certifications have been at that highest platinum level. I also want to add kind of this ribbon note that you'll see here. What we've seen is our stores, they generally don't just get certified and then for 1 year and that's that. A lot of them are being certified for multiple years and consecutive years. So it's that continuous participation in that program and then that continuous improvement. And for those of you that are familiar with US sports, it just makes me think of the Los Angeles Lakers or Tom Brady, just consecutive achievement. And for a more geographic visual, if you go, I encourage anyone to go ahead and please check out our map on our website, where you can see the spread of the GreenChill certified stores. And you can there's a table at the bottom that you can also use to toggle. And it gives you a little bit of a flavor, again, for, I guess, the technologies that are being adopted. All right. Trying to be mindful of time here. I just want to share a recap of our most recent recognition ceremony. Super proud and excited to report that we recognized 12 companies in 7 different categories with a total of 74 achievements across our 2 programs, the corporate emissions reduction program and our store certification program. So here in this slide, if you look to your right, you can see the logos of the various GreenChill partners that would recognize this year. For those that are interested in kind of joining GreenChill, I'd like to share with you and walk you through the different recognition categories that we actually have. So the first one is we recognize the best emissions rate. So a partner that has the lowest corporate-wide emissions rate out of all of the partners. And we do so in 2 different categories. The first one being a retail chain, and then the second one being kind of a small independent grocer. So congratulations to Meyer and Cook County Whole Foods Co-op, who are our 2 recipients this year. We recognize those that have had the most improved emissions rate. And we do so, again, in kind of 2 recognitions. One being who has improved from their baseline, the year that they first joined the GreenChill partnership, and then a year-to-year improvement. So you'll see there, City Market, Onion River Co-op, and Weiss Markets were recognized this year. We have a superior goal achievement. So each of our partners in their kind of refrigerant management plan that they supply to EPA, they set their kind of reduction goal. And when they're able to meet that, they're able to receive this superior goal achievement. So we had 8 of our partners actually reach the goals that they had set this year. We take it one step further. There's also a stretch goal, a stretch refrigerant emissions reduction goal. That's much more difficult to hit than that first goal. And so for our partners that are able to hit their stretch goal, they get an exceptional goal achievement recognition. Kind of a sort of a new, maybe rebranded award that we had is store leadership, and it was awarded to Grocery Outlet, in particular their store in Southern California, Canoga Park, California. I believe it was their store that was in their commercial refrigeration. Their first store that was using all propane. And then I will also mention our last recognition that we have. It goes to the food retailer and the equipment manufacturer that has the most GreenChill certified stores. So that went to Aldi and Hill Phoenix, so who's here today. And I think Aldi is actually, I think they've received that recognition for multiple years. I want to say almost maybe 10 years in a row. And so yeah, these were our recipients this year, our partner recipients this year. And then going back to kind of that map that I showed of GreenChill certified stores, we recognize stores that are recertified consecutively for 5 years. And it's an extremely impressive achievement. We had 57 stores that were consecutive, had 5-year consecutive certifications. So here they are there. All right. I want to kind of share a little bit of GreenChill as it tries to look forward to the future. First and foremost, absolutely, we want to build on the foundation of our founding, our current partners. I want to make sure that they get the biggest nod. So we're building off of that. And for those that are here on the webinar today, we are always looking forward to welcome new partners to the partnership. Again, encouraging new stores, whether you're a co-op or a mom and pop, or you have a parent company, to if you're making strides, apply to our store certification program. We are working with our partners to explore opportunities where it makes sense to kind of expand, maybe move into broader categories in refrigerant equipment use. I will share the criteria for our silver, gold, and platinum. That I think, hasn't maybe been updated in a few years. So we're looking to update that. In a sense, we're going to work closely with our partners to maybe sort of move the goalpost, or kind of continue to raise the bar on ourselves, continue to help push ourselves to keep advancing in pursuing technology transitions. And on a celebratory note, next year we are looking forward to celebrating our 15th anniversary in GreenChill. So hopefully there's things we can do to make a nice celebration. All right, and with that, first off, I just want to say again, Michael, thank you to you and the team at ATMO for inviting us to share about GreenChill at this forum. I'd like to thank my colleague Gerald Wozniak, who is I think he's been at ATMO a few years and has served really as the technical guru for GreenChill. I want to note that what you saw here today really represents the work of at least 10 or so of my colleagues. So it truly takes a team to run this program. And as I jumped into this new role of managing GreenChill, I've been fortunate enough to have conversations with some of our partners. Look forward to having more with them. They really are doing the hard work of reducing the leaks. They're the ones making this happen. I think of myself as just as a cheerleader. They're the ones educating me on the best technologies that they are pursuing, the rationale for them. And it's been, I'll add a personal note. These companies, our partners, are very family oriented, and they're all of them are, I think we all recognize that we're trying to do the right thing and trying to preserve our climate for future generations, which really resonates with me, because a lot of my college friends are having kids and they're all sending me photos. So I think I'm proud of our partnership. They're all really trying to do the best that we all can. And I'll just end by saying, look, I invite anyone that thinks they have something to contribute to the GreenChill program, or they want to apply to be a partner, to please absolutely reach out. And again, thank you to you, Michael. Thank you to everyone.
There I go. I had to unmute myself. I want to thank Kersey for that very informative, comprehensive presentation on GreenChill. We really covered all the bases in the program. It really does quite a bit of work, and of course it's a strictly a voluntary program. There's no regulatory side to this. It's all all the partners, all the retailers are volunteering to participate and to derive the benefits of the program. So that's certainly something that I think the EPA is considers very important aspect that it is a voluntary program. So on to the question and answer part. We do have one question from the audience. I encourage anybody to submit their question by going into the live discussion area and then hitting on questions. Or so we have a question. I know that in the awards that you gave out, one of them was for the best emissions, as you mentioned. Is it possible to share what the best emission rates were? I know the average you said was the average is about 13% for all partners. I guess the best emissions was below that. Was there any way to share that?
I believe, Michael, we don't share that. So I think what I've seen so our partners, I think they get a report across all the partnership, but it's all anonymized. So they don't know, they can't attribute to, who got what. I think though, actually, you know what, now that I am trying to remember when I glanced at the report, I think we had a partner that maybe had a year where they were basically zero, but I would want to double check that. We may have had a partner that was, but I would want to double check that.
Okay. But perhaps the companies themselves who got the awards might be willing to share that information if they were contacted. I think it's right.
I would leave that up to them to.
Yeah.
I would leave that up to them if they want to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that is something that people are curious about, like how low what was the best emission rate, low or the lowest emissions rate. Okay, here's another question. What is the threshold for what the program considers to be low GWP refrigerants? That is it a GWP under 150, or is there some other threshold for low GWP?
For that, Michael, I'm going to go ahead and say I invite folks to go ahead and check out the information that we have on our website, on the store certification and kind of the information. I'm happy to also provide information to folks on, they can see when the process to applying in our corporate partnership. So I think that's, I'll still say that I'm also still new and still getting caught up to speed on the program. So.
Right. You just started what, a month ago or so?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if we have a strict definition.
I mean
that. So I would encourage folks to reach out, and then we'll get you the information and to check out our website.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of GreenChill partners have gone to have installed natural refrigerants, which of course have a very low ultra low GWP of 1 or below. So okay, again, you can ask Kersey as an opportunity to ask him questions about the program. I have some questions, Kersey. So it's impressive that you have about a third of the U.S. supermarkets in the program, and that's quite a significant number. However, there's still a lot there are a lot of stores that are not in the program, and I'm just wondering, I mean, it's a voluntary program. There's certainly a lot, as you point out, they can save a lot of money by reducing their leaks and certainly preparing for the future by investing in new advanced systems and natural refrigerants. Why do you think there's some resistance to participating in, and what can you do to overcome that and get more people to join?
Great question, Michael. I will say I personally don't know the resistance. In the limited conversations that I've had with our partners, and in my role trying to just get up to speed. You know, I think what we've done in GreenChill is we've created a fun, collaborative, artificial competitive environment, right? Where the partners that join in, they get to see in those anonymized reports how well they stack up against their peers. And so I think for me, when I hear your question, I turn it back on myself. And I think the goal for me is to figure out how do I make that an even more enticing, competitive environment so that, you know, that remaining 70%, they're like, hey, we want to join in and we want to compete against, you know, our peers in a very collaborative, amicable way. So I can't speak to, you know, why we don't have 100% yet. I look at that, your question, Michael, in a positive light of like, what do I need to do to make this, you know, a more enticing competition so that we do, you know, so that we do bring in and invite more people. So that next year, you know, on my next birthday, I have, you know, 5 more partners that join on. So I think the exciting part for me.
Right. I was excited to see Stop and Shop because that's my local. I go there every week, so I'm glad to know they're in GreenChill. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I mean, so as you say, certainly it's a collaborative effort, but at the same time, retailers get to see what their peers are doing, not just their direct competitors, but just their peers across the country, and that's really a good way to measure their own progress and give them an incentive to you know, get up to speed and compete, you know, and get up to speed with the with what some of their peers are doing across the country. So it's really a very educational tool that you give them an opportunity to avail themselves of, and it's really very constructive. And of course, they end up saving money and helping the environment. So there's really a very good reason to join. I'm surprised more haven't, and I'm sure more will as time goes on. Okay. Oh, we have a note here that for platinum certifications, the threshold for GWP is 150. In other words, if you have a refrigerant with a GWP under 150, is what you would do to qualify for a platinum, in addition to the low charge and the low leak rates. So that's one data point to keep in mind. Here's another question from the audience, and we have a few more minutes. Okay. If we like to do a big step in the transition direction, the best step is to go to natural refrigerants, like, for example, CO2. I guess that's a question mark. Is the best step in terms of a transition to go in the direction of a natural refrigerant like CO2?
I think, you know, Michael, in what I've been learning from my veteran colleagues and from, you know, the conversations that I've had with the partners, you know, we are fully supportive of all lower GWP refrigerants. That's what you know, we encourage and we pursue. So, okay.
So you're agnostic, but you certainly are open to naturals and supportive of naturals.
Fair to say. Again, yeah, just, you know, I think I like to, Michael, you know, in kind of dovetailing on like my past experience in other sectors, like, you know, in the electric vehicle sector and the ag sector, what I've come to learn is you have to, just stay open to all of the viable options and that get us to lower emissions.
Okay.
You know, we really leave we leave the option to the users, to our partners to choose. And again, like when I had those conversations, you know, the few conversations I've had with our partners as I've been able to meet one-on-one, you know, they've been conveying to me, you know, why they, you know, some of them are in a retrofit mode, some of them are in a new store mode, some of them, they've been telling me why they pursue a particular technology and why, you know, one solution in a given moment of time just works for them. So.
All right, I'm going to stop here and thank you, Kersey, and thank our audience. Our next session will be at 1:25, the end users discussion. So don't miss that. And again, it's been a pleasure to hear from the new GreenChill manager. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. Likewise.